Hello, happy Monday. I'm recording this on a Monday, but happy any day of the week that you may be listening to this on. The topic of this video will be dissociation. Dissociation is a kind of disconnect from self, or subjectively, it can feel like a disconnect from your body or from your surroundings. Dissociation can come as in the form of a perceived sense of flatness in terms of your emotions. Perhaps it manifests as an inability to feel happy or angry or sad. All in all, dissociation can manifest as a shutting down of your emotions. It can happen for a variety of reasons. I will speak frankly. I have had an interesting experience of dissociation. I experienced sexual abuse and other forms of physical abuse and neglect, emotional abuse as well. I'll be more specific. My mother would just talk at me. She would get so upset and she'd talk at me. She wasn't interested in anything I had to say. She treated me like an extension of herself. There was a sense of enmeshment where it kind of felt like we were all one organism in our family, or at least between me and my mother and my stepfather. But there was this subjective sense that I had that anything that I did, my parents would know about it somehow, as if there was some kind of a telepathic link. Or really, what it felt like was an inner sense of guilt or insecurity that I couldn't have secrets. There were times in my childhood where boundaries were very much so crossed with me. Things that I wanted to keep private, my mom would completely disrespect. She would barge into my room and would go through my stuff. I'm thinking of a very specific example right now of when that happened. And I feel that the way that she handled those situations was kind of invasive. It made me feel like what the fuck? I was sexually abused by my stepfather. And I've dissociated from many of the specific memories of that happening. For a long time, I did not possess specific memories of the abuse. I tried very heavily to forget. My understanding is that the earlier dynamic of my stepfather and I was kind of like a grooming, this is normal, this is okay, kind of like a manipulative, insidious, less violent kind of abuse. Lots of coercion. Lots of manipulation, lots of emotional manipulation. Specifically speaking, and this is I'm going to handle this carefully. I'm not sure how necessary it is to describe the specific acts that were that I performed and that were performed on me. But it was egregious abuse. And meanwhile, not abusive. I did have to disconnect from my body. I have one specific memory of almost like looking down from the ceiling at myself while it was happening. And I remember the memory returned to me in a dream, and I thought it was just a dream at first, but But yeah, along with like other like somatic memory, as in like this when I speak about this memory, there's a need to protect myself. There's a need, like my body goes to protect my groin. Like I'm like blocking. Like I want to tense up. I want to push away. And I can feel like facial hair. I can feel facial hair on the back of my hands. You know, like that was very challenging. Even talking about it now, it's it kind of just makes me feel like it makes me feel gross. It makes me feel dirty. It makes me feel like how could this be happening? Like this is wrong. This is so wrong. I feel disgusted. I feel just like betrayed. But that's not a. I didn't have that memory for a long time. The house that many of these early memories of abuse, or my stepfather's house, or townhouse rather, that a lot of this earlier grooming and abuse occurred in. I have very little recollection of the interior, and I stayed over there many, many times. Not consistently. I didn't live there, but during the summers I would go there with my mother, opposed to living at my grandparents' house, where my mother and I would stay otherwise. But for a long time, and even still more so, I have a sort of amnesia, a forgetting of kind of like what the interior of that house looks like. I can vaguely remember it, but my memories are very cloudy. It's not clear. Like I can remember the interior of my buddy's house, my best friend's house from elementary school, and I stayed over there a handful of times, way fewer times than I did at my stepfather's townhouse. But because of the gravity of what was happening, the fact that I daydreamed a lot, I dissociated a lot as a behavior, as a coping mechanism, a lot of the my ability to recall what the inside of that house was like, and the way that it felt like to be that kid, to be me when I was, say, 5 or 6 or 7 years old. Because I'll take this one step at a time. I feel presently, like right now, I feel kind of a little fuzzy, a little shut down. I feel like tense in my shoulders, like in my traps, and I also feel a tension in my lower abdomen, maybe near to my pelvis, but it's just like a very deep sense of like clenching, bracing. I still live with my stepfather, whom sexually abused me, sexually assaulted me later on in my childhood. So there is a prudent aspect to why I'm dissociating as a 22-year-old. I am like, this is the way I'm interpreting these symptoms. Uh, I've experienced flashbacks to these memories, and when I'm having a flashback, it's very clear what's happening. It's very clear, and it's also undeniable. I have meanwhile, the flashbacks are extremely uncomfortable and they're devastating. It also feels very cathartic in the sense of like I don't have to wonder. It's like I know. So it's a double-edged sword. But generally speaking, I spend a lot of time dissociated. And that's very challenging. I want to take a second to thank my body, to thank my highest self for everything that it does for me. I want to thank you as the listener for being here for this, and I want to wish you all the best. You are deserving and you are worthy. Please take care in your endeavors, and I hope to see you again soon. Please take care.